Manchester United are one of just 4 Premier League sides who are yet to lose a game in all competitions, this is as well, all comps, when they're 1-0 up.
That's brilliant.
That really shocked me. I mean, and they're in good company as well, by the way. It's Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle are the other 3 sides, so they're in good company with that. So they'll go 1-0 up, they don't throw it away. Now, there's 2 ways of looking into it. And I'll go to you about this, Flex. So is it a sign of they lose confidence if they concede first? Or is it a sign of they go 1-0 up and they're fantastic defensively and we can see a game out? How do you read that?
Definitely the first one.
Yeah.
Because you listen to when Ruben Amorim's, giving analysis about us and talking about the moments, like conceding really early goals. I mean, look what we did against Brighton. Look what we did against Forest. Look what we did against... there was another loss in there. Who was the other one at home?
Newcastle.
Terrible. Newcastle. It's kicking off within 4 minutes. You've conceded.
Yeah.
So anything you've worked on, which is actually limited, which he's saying we don't have much training time. So whatever little we did work on with the mentality, with the structure of the team, with being brave with the ball, you concede within 3 or 4 minutes. That's it. You're on the back foot. And like Paul says about the character to go and play under those circumstances when you've conceded first, it's fragile. And then all of a sudden players start getting in their heads. They don't want to take the ball. You don't want to take a risk with the ball. And Ruben spoke about us, when we go down a goal, us trying to fix it immediately, not remaining calm. Then you go and concede another one, which actually in the Brighton game was a little bit of a contrast because we conceded early, but actually what we did do well was get the ball down, start playing a little bit, manage to get the penalty, get back into the game. Then it was a 50-50 game, and then you make mistakes after that again, and you're back to square one. So it also shows with the league table where we are, we're keeping company with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Newcastle in terms of going 1-0 up, but we're 14th or 13th or wherever we are now.
Exactly.
So it also shows the deficiencies in confidence when you do concede.
Yeah, you brought that down beautifully. Ange, can you draw any positives from this stat? I mean, are the defence being underestimated?
I mean, when you look at the defence, it was better against Fulham, definitely. But we don't have, I've said it before, we don't have a defence that is going to take you to, like, winning a Premier League title. This is a defence that are OK at the moment, but do not have the quality that is needed. You look at somebody like Harry Maguire, he was horrendous against Rangers. And, yeah, maybe, he tried to redeem himself a little bit in that Fulham game. Like I say, the defence overall were good. But he's not good enough, is the bottom line. So I think the defence hasn't been horrendous in adapting to this back 3 or back 5, whatever you want to call it. But it's not Premier League winning defence.
I think it's because it's easier for him as well. You've got an extra defender in there.
Yeah.
So half of the time, we're in that sort of U shape from right wing back all the way through to left wing back. We spent a lot of time just passing it across the back line. So when we were getting 60% possession and stuff, teams are going, no problem here. We're comfortable.
Yeah, you're right. And believe it or not, those are the positive stats. So let's get slightly more negative here and let's discuss it, shall we? Next slide, please. 68% of Manchester United's Premier League goals this season have come in the second half, with only Leicester scoring a higher ratio, by the way, 72%. So, again, we talk about being in good company in the last start. Not so much good company in this one, with all due respect to Leicester, who got a good result on the weekend, by the way. Now, Paul, I'll throw over to you here. Does this show... what does it show? Does it show a lack of quality in the attack?
It just shows that going from that earlier one, it's about going behind and chasing. And as we watch, you'll see that they'll have a lot of the ball in midfield. It goes to the front and it comes straight back. So they're constantly under pressure. The defence cannot deal with teams that move quickly beyond them. So they're always likely to concede.
Yeah.
And that's one of my reasoning behind that, to be perfectly honest, because the ball's not been held up long enough. The ball retention's not good enough in the attacking third as well. And they've got a big problem that once a team gets over that halfway line and into defensive third, they can't keep the ball out the net.
Oh, I know, it's sad, isn't it? Crookie, why does it take so long for United to get going? Is it tactics? Is it mentality? What do you think?
I think there's been a little bit of fear factor in first halves at times this season. We saw that at the Etihad in particular, when obviously they were behind against Manchester City. Bit too respectful maybe in that first half. Whatever Ruben Amorim said at half-time clearly did the trick. Against Southampton, they were just dreadful, not just for the first half, but for the majority of the second until they finally sparked into life. So I do think there's a nervousness an anxiety about this team. Ruben's alluded to that himself, particularly at home, actually, where the pressure of that Old Trafford crowd, I think, really weighs heavily on the shoulders. I think, actually, away from home, first priority, keep a clean sheet in the first half, as they did against Fulham, and then go and try and win it in the second half. So away from home, I don't think that stat is worrying, but it is when it comes to home form.
Yeah, good point. On paper, it's a really good result, to be honest with you. 1-0 away to Fulham. It's just when you read in between the lines, it's when you can get bogged down in the details, which is my job. Final stat here, and it's a negative one. I can't dress this one up. Manchester United have had to wait until the 42nd minute for their first shot in this game. The 42nd minute, and we're not talking shots on target here, just shot, okay? And it's the joint longest wait since their attempts on goal, basically in the same minute, the 42nd minute, against Arsenal. And both of them have been under Amorim, by the way. So, quite damning flex. How do you look into that one?
We don't know how to... In this system, what we've seen, we don't know how to attack effectively. It's as simple as that. We get into that final third, and what we haven't worked out, because we've got the numerical advantage at the back, so you're talking about you might go longer, keeping a few more clean sheets. It's easier to defend like that because you have 3 centre-halves and then wing-backs just ahead of that. So you've got a good unit. When you're at the top end of the pitch, you've then trying to turn these wing-backs into attackers. And let's just be honest, unless Ahmad plays at right wing-back, who's shown great adaptability to be able to do that, Mazraoui is not comfortable doing that. Dalot is not comfortable doing that. So you're 2 attackers down in transition when you've got the ball. And then you've got problems at the number 9 with Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes, depending on who's playing.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 2 10s, which, when it's Garnacho in there, he's trying to adapt of being an inside forward. It's not a natural fit for him. You've got Bruno Fernandes in there, which, listen, like Paul said, he comes in clutch. He's the only one you can really hang your hat on of making things happen. And then Ahmad in the inside 10. You had Anthony having a chance in there, didn't work. No Mason Mount. And then you've got Kobe and Ugarte, who, as a pairing, probably doesn't work when you want to be on the front foot. When, again, that's why in the bigger games against Liverpool, when we've played against Arsenal, you sit in there, you be competitive, you go after people, you be a bit ugly, stay in the game. When you've now got to go and play in the final third and make things happen and keep the ball ticking over, these partnerships aren't working. So I'm not surprised to see that, and it's going to keep continuing until the profile of player changes.
Do you know what? I'm going to extract little bits of what you've said there and open a question to the panel. Does this kind of further underline, put it in bold, italics, whatever you like, about, and trust me to bring up Garnacho, of course, but the sale of Garnacho, we're already struggling to generate chances, to attack. It further underlines, as I say, why sell him? Paul, you've got your opinions on Garnacho. What do you think about that?
I think they should. If someone's going to come in and pay silly money, you sell him.
Garnacho?
Yeah.
You can't say that to him because listen, this is his guy, Paul. Like, he loves Alejandro Garnacho. This is going to be interesting.
No, I think he's had his moments. He scored, when he first come in, he scored that great goal at Everton. But I just think you look what you get out of him and his game. I just wonder how far he can go. I think he's getting to the pinnacle of his level. I don't think he's got enough. He wants to play on the left. He wants to play wide on the left. He hasn't got natural pace. He hasn't got natural technique to go past people. He needs someone to dive in to go past them. And as well, his decision-making, he can't cross with his left foot. He's always going to cut inside and shoot all the time. I think if someone comes in and offers 40, 50, 60, I think you take it, because you look at it, he's deemed as coming through the club through that way. So again, using this again, PSR, he's of value to go out and get someone proven in that role, in my opinion. I'm really sorry. And I hope
he wants to leave the set.
Listen, I'm fuming. No, look, I hear what you're saying, and I'll offer a counter argument for it. But I hear what you're saying about Garnacho, the indecisiveness. Look, we all talk about that, but I'm talking about a 20-year-old who's got 8 goals and 5 assists this season. Okay, Ahmad is clearly stealing the headlines, but lest we forget, he was one of the bright attacking players last season. And
Ahmad's decision-making is better than Garnacho.
It is, and look, I'm not going to argue that. However, a 20-year-old, I'm asking you, Ahmad aside, how many people are you comparing a 20-year-old that can get 8 goals and 5 assists? He's worked for so many managers. Did you rate Ten Hag? No, we can collectively say by the end of it, we didn't rate Ten Hag. And he was still a bright spark in that side. I think for a 20-year-old, I think 60 million, I think it's laughable. I'll go as far as saying it's laughable.
It depends what you do, doesn't it? I mean, the issue they've got, they paid 55 million for Mason Mount, which has been a disastrous signing.
Yes.
There's no two ways of sugarcoating that. because of the injuries, it's a disastrous signing. I actually think a fully fit Mason Mount offers an awful lot in this system.
Yeah.
But if you're going to sell Garnacho to Chelsea for £60 million, then what you've basically done is a swap deal.
Yeah.
And Chelsea would probably come out the better of that. There's talk of Christopher Nkunku. He struggled to stay fit since he was at Chelsea. I wonder what type of temperament and character he's got. Is he what you really want in the dressing room? So I think it's only a good investment in terms of selling Garnacho, an academy product, which is what this football club is built on. It's what the foundations are all about. If you're going to get an upgrade.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure there's an upgrade available in this transfer window.
Ange, I'm looking at you. Come on. Garnacho. You're keeping him or you're selling him? Oh, no.
Sad. I don't want to make you sad. For me, I completely agree with Paul that if that money is on the table, it would be a bittersweet departure because I do agree. I think that there's something there, but I think it would be something we would look at later down the line and think, you know what, maybe that was the right call because you look at how many... I know, I feel bad. You look at, like, the amount of forward players, though, that Manchester United have taken a gamble on, invested in or kept at the club for too long. The bottom line, he doesn't really fit into this system. And the way that I criticise Joshua Zirkzee for not fitting into the system, the way that I criticise Dalot for not fitting into the system, I have to treat everybody the same here. Yeah. And you have to cut the cord at the right time. And if the money is on the table, it might be the right time.
Look, there we are. I'm hearing all the arguments. I'm taking them on board. I'm devastated, not going to lie. Flex, I've got to hand back over to you. I've got to leave.